Dash and then
Shavua Tov, everyone. It is wonderful to be together. We are indeed together. We are together digitally, thanks to the miracle of modern technology, to share in our Selihot service this night. One of the great joys that I have had for all the years I have been Rabbi of Temple Isaiah, and I know is true for all of my colleagues, Rabbi Lerner, Rabbi Kling Perkins, Rabbi Maimon Cantor Dube, has been the opportunity to share as much as our two congregations share. I often note that personally, I don't know any two congregations that share more, let alone two congregations of different movements, that recognize the importance of what it means to be a larger Jewish community. And this is one of the annual events that we share and have the opportunity to do together. With it, we officially enter the season of the Yamim Noraim, the High Holy Days. And this year, of course, well, they are a little bit different than every other year. So it's even more on each of us to do all that we can to make them as meaningful as possible. We do so together because that's what it is to be a Jewish community, together. And so we begin tonight by together sharing Havdalah.
הנה ישועתי אבטח ולא אחד, כי עוזי בזמרתיה, אדוני ויהי לי ישועה. ושאבתם מים בששון, ממעייני הישועה, לאדוני הישועה, על עמך ברכתך סלה. אדוני צבאות עמנו משגב לנו, אלוהי יעקב סלה. אדוני צבאות אשרי אדם בוטח בך, אדוני הושיע מלך יעננו, ויום קוראנו.
ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה וששון ויקר, כן תהיה לנו.
ליהודים הייתה אורה ושמחה וששון ויקר, כן תהיה לנו. כל שישועות אשא, ובשם אדוני אקרא. Lai lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la lai 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 la lai lai la 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 lai lai la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la la lai 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 la lai lai la 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 lai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen Borei peri hagafen Ya lai la 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 ya la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim borei minei v'samim ya la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei ha'esh borei meorei ha'esh la 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavir בין קודש לחול, בין אור לחושך, בין ישראל לעמים, בין יום השביעי לששת ימי המעשה. ברוך אתה אדוני המבדיל בין קודש לחול. המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חטאותינו ימחול, זרענו וכספנו ירבה ירבה כחובך כוכבים בלילה. זרענו וכספנו ירבה ירבה כחובך כוכבים בלילה. שבוע טוב, 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 שבוע טוב. אליהו הנביא, אליהו התשבי, אליהו, אליהו, אליהו הגלעדי, במהרה בימינו יבוא אלינו, עם משיח בן דוד, עם משיח בן דוד. מרים הנביאה, עוז וזמרה בידה, מרים תרקוד איתנו, להגדיל זמרת עולם. מרים תרקוד איתנו, לתקן את העולם. במהרה בימינו היא תביאנו אל מעייני הישועה, אל מעייני הישועה. שבוע טוב.
Shavua Tov. We wish each other a Shavua Tov, a good week. May it be a week of peace, a week of shalom, a week of shlemut, a week of wholeness, a week of shalva, a week of tranquility. We wish David Srebnick Yesher Koach for leading us in such a beautiful Havdalah. Havdalah, the ceremony that serves as that divider, but also is that connector, because we had a Havdalah candle that weaves together the wicks. So hopefully over Shabbat, you came a little bit closer to yourself, to other people, to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, to the Holy One, and to a sense of community. And so now we really do connect, as all of our Zoom boxes have come together. And as Howard, as Rabbi Jaffe said so beautifully, we are now one community at this moment. I'm going to turn it over to Cantor Lisa Dube to bring us into the next part of our Selihot service.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and reborn again. אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללוך, עוד יהללוך, אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללוך, עוד יהללוך, אשרי יושבי ביתך, עוד יהללוך, עוד יהללוך. הנשמה לך והגוף מולך, חוסה חוסה על המלאך. הנשמה לך והגוף מולך, חוסה חוסה
In the Torah, we're told that Moses really wants to see God's face. And what does that really mean? Well, Moses wants to understand God, which means Moses wants to understand the world. And I think that as much as we've learned about the world in the past hundreds and thousands of years, there's still a lot of things that we don't understand, and there's still a lot of things that maybe we understand, but we can't fully control. And that's a hard thing to deal with. That's a hard thing for us to live with. But God's answer to Moses is to reveal these attributes that the rabbis tell us are the attributes of mercy. And at this time of year, we experience God, we call upon God in these ways as manifesting these attributes of mercy. And so, as in some ways, really the heart of what it is that we're here to do tonight is to call upon those attributes of mercy and to ask for us to be able to experience them in the year to come. We rise for the 13 attributes of mercy, if we are able.
אל רחפיימתה ובעל הרחמים נקראת, בדרך תשובה הורית. גדולת רחמך וחסדך תזכור היום, וכיום זרע ידידך. תפן אליך ברחמים, כי אתה הוא בעל הרחמים. בתחנון ובתפילה פניך נקדם, כהודעת לעיניו מקדם, מחרונה בחשוב, כמו בתורתך כתוב, ובצל כנפך נכסה ונתלונן כיום, וירד אדוני בענן, תעבור הפשע, ותמחה עשה שם, כיום ויתייצב עמו שם. תאזין שבתנו ותקשיבנו מאמר, כיום ויקרא בשם אדוני ושם נאמר. ויעבור אדוני על פניו ויקרא. אדוני, אדוני, רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד באמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. וסלחת על עווננו וחטאתנו ונחלתנו.
You may be seated. We continue on page 8 with the Mota'e Menucha. Hear our plea.
מוצאי מנוחה, קידמנוחה תחילה, את אוזנך ממרום, יושי תהילה, לשמוע אל הרינה, ואל התפילה, לשמוע אל הרינה, אל התפילה.
את ימינו זוררה לעשות חיים, בצדק נחקר ונשחט תמורו העיר, גננה גזעו וזקן ביוד לעיר, לשמוע אל הרינה ואל התפילה, לשמוע אל הרינה ואל התפילה.
דרוש נא דורשך בדרשם פניך, הדרש למו משמי מעונך, ושבת חינונם אל תלם אוזנך, לשמוע אל הרינה ואל התפילה, לשמוע אל הרינה ואל התפילה.
רצה עתירתם ועמדם בלילות, שעיניו רצון כקורבן כליל ועולות, תרם ניסך עושה גדולות, לשמוע אל הרינה V'el hatfilah Lishmoa el harina V'el hatfilah.
Sometimes when someone is in distress, the best thing we can do for them isn't to actually do anything. It's to listen, to let them know that we hear them, to let them know that we see them, that we see what they're going through, and that they're not alone. And that's exactly what we ask for in this next prayer. Shema Kolenu. Listen to our plea, God. Sorry, getting that right.
Shema Kolenu. Listen to our prayers, Adonai. But if we want you to listen to our prayers, we must be willing to listen to the prayers of others. Those who pray vainly for attention, and those who shrink with fear at another's touch. Those whose outward ugliness may hide a soul of beauty, and those whose faces we forget from one encounter to the next. Those who wait in pain only for death, and those who wait for news which never comes. O Mentor of Israel, have mercy and compassion for those whose minds are clouded or weak, and those who bear the burden of broken bodies, those whose ambition exceeds their skill, those whose early promise is dimmed. Shema Kolenu. Listen to their prayers and inspire us to respond to their cries. Shema Kolenu, Adonai Eloheinu.
Eloheinu v'Elohei אבותינו, תבוא לפניך תפילתנו, מיד תתעלם מתחינתנו, שאין אנו עוזי פנים וקשי עורף, לומר לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, צדיקים אנחנו ולא חטאנו, אבל אנחנו חטאנו, אבינו פשענו.
Ay, 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 ay. Ashamnu, bagadnu, gazalnu, dibarnu dofi. Ay, 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 ay. Hevinu v'hirshanu zadnu chamasnu tafalnu shaker. Ay, 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 ay. Ya'atznu ra, kizavnu, latznu, maranu, niatznu, sararnu, avinu, pashanu, sararnu, kishinu orev. Ay, 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 ay. Rashanu, shichatnu, tiavnu, ta'inu, titanu. Ay, 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 ay.
We all have committed offenses. Together, we confess these human sins. The sins of arrogance, bigotry, and cynicism, of deceit and egotism, flattery and greed, injustice and jealousy. Some of us kept grudges, were lustful, malicious, or narrow-minded. Others were obstinate or possessive, quarrelsome, rancorous, or selfish. There was violence, weakness of will, xenophobia. We yielded to temptation and showed zeal for bad causes. I'm going to invite us in our seats, in our own sacred spaces, to find a comfortable way of sitting now that's at once alert and also relaxed. Sitting up straight, if our legs are crossed, allowing them to uncross and just rest gently in front of us. If you have anything in your hands, letting them just be on your lap, open, palms up to the sky, palms up to the ceiling. Let's take a breath together. And another breath. Breathing in the sweetness of these last days of this year. Allowing the breath simply to be as it is. Perhaps closing our eyes if that's comfortable. If it's not, that's fine. Just focusing our gaze lightly downward. Remembering to continue breathing. Achat sha'alti me'et Adonai, ota avakesh. One thing I ask of God, only that do I seek. Imagine if you could ask one thing of God. Imagine if reality, life, all the powers and resources in existence could grant you one thing. Take a few deep breaths. Let your thoughts float freely. What would that one thing be? Just for now, open your mind to the endless possibilities that could be incorporated into this singular ask. Would you ask for something? Some person? Health? Wealth? Power? An experience? Would you ask for qualities of heart and mind, intelligence, skill, courage? Would you ask for patience, honor, well-being, love? We recite these words, Achad sha'alti me'et Adonai ota avakesh, these words from Psalm 27, this whole month of Elul through Sukkot. This time of asking and seeking. This time we ask, what do I really want? What am I honestly looking for? The psalmist answered like this, Shivti bevet Adonai kol yemei chayai. Lachazot benoam Adonai ulevaker behechalo. To live in the house of Adonai all the days of my life. To gaze upon the beauty of Adonai and to frequent God's temple. What would it mean to ask to live in the house of Adonai? Does it have a roof, walls, and a door? Is it a way of being or a way of feeling? Is it a way to say that I am whole and free, loved and safe? Is it being alive and full, at peace? Is it something like being found and returned home and never feeling lost again? What would it mean to gaze on the beauty of Adonai? Is it everywhere or somewhere special? Is it an internal beauty or an external beauty? What kind of eyes can see the beauty of Adonai? And where is God's temple? Is it a building? A mountain peak? A rushing river? Is it a place? A time? Achat sha'alti, me'et Adonai ota avakesh. One thing do I seek from God. What do you seek? We take a few more deep breaths. Following that in-breath as it comes in, and the out-breath as it leaves our body. And on the next out-breath, inviting us, if we have our eyes closed, to slowly allow them to open. Returning us both to our individual sacred spaces and to our collective sacred space here together as one community.
Eloheinu v'Elokei Avoteinu, Salach lanu, Mechal lanu, Kaper lanu. Ki anu amecha v'yata Eloheinu, anu banecha v'yata avinu, anu avadecha v'yata Adonenu, anu kehalecha v'yata chelkeinu, anu nachlatecha v'yata goraleinu, anu tzonecha v'yata roeinu, anu charmecha v'yata notreinu, anu peulatecha v'yata yotereinu, anu rayatecha v'yata dodeinu, anu segulatecha v'yata Eloheinu, anu amecha v'yata malkeinu, anu mamirecha v'yata mamireinu.
Friends, each year at this time, we make a number of major transitions. We are really bringing ourselves into this period of the Yamim Noraim, and it takes place in lots of different ways. Normally, we are gathering in our sanctuaries, whether at Temple Isaiah or at Temple Amunah. That's why that clip from about 10 years ago was so neat to actually see us together at Temple Amunah. We looked a lot younger, but it was neat anyway. And one of the other things that we do is we change our dress, our outfits. There's something about the clothing that we wear helps transform our mood, our outlook. The rabbis of the Talmud said that each Friday night you should put on a white shirt, go out into the fields to greet Shabbat. And that was one of the ways that they helped transform time, is by creating a different clothing. And similarly, on the Yamim Noraim, we also wear different clothes. And so we do that as well. There's a tradition that on Rosh Hashanah, you should have a new garment. Could be something simple, a new tie, a new shirt. Could be something more elaborate. And each year, of course, we also change the Torah mantles. The Torah mantles become from whatever they are. And I know we have beautiful Torah mantles, both for the Sifrei Torah at Temple Isaiah and at Temple Emunah. And they change and become white. And white is important. White is the color that we use at really sacred occasions. Think of a wedding. Traditionally, both partners wear white at the wedding to symbolize a tabula rasa, a clean slate, that both partners are coming into this moment renewed and refreshed, that they are really entering into this space. And so on the Yamim Noraim, on Rosh Hashanah and on Yom Kippur, we are really trying to come into that moment with a sense of hopefully transforming ourselves, and that we come through that experience renewed. That's why that Yom Kippur is like a wedding day. It is the second wedding day between God and the Jewish people. The first one happened on Shavuot. Things were going really well, but Moshe lingered 40 days, and we all know the story of the golden calf that Rabbi Kling Perkins alluded to earlier. The tablets were broken. Moshe had to go up a second time on Rosh Chodesh Elul a few weeks ago, and then Moshe comes down on Yom Kippur, and that is, if you will, the second wedding between God and the Jewish people, the one that is still in effect thousands of years later. And so we fast, right? We wear white traditionally, and those traditionally are the same things that the partners engage in leading up to the wedding. Traditionally, the partners do not eat leading up to the wedding, obviously wearing white. Some even recite the same prayers of confession leading up to the wedding so that they can come in with a clean slate. So I'm now going to invite Leon Gunther to play the violin, as I'm going to change one of the Torah, Sifrei Torah. I have one here in my little Mikdash Mat, my little mini sanctuary at home. And I'm going to change one of the Torah mantles. He's going to play Solomon's Eitz Chaim He, which is most appropriate for this moment. So I will change the mantle and Leon will play. Thank you, Leon.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu, Ve'alol Aleinu, V'tapeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Dever, Ve'cherev V'rav, Me'aleinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Chotzar, Umastin, Me'aleinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvinu, B'Sefer Chaim Tovim, Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu, Chadesh Aleinu, Shana Tova, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu, Shana Tova, Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu, Shema Kolenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim, Asei imanu, Tzedaka v'chesed, Asei imanu tzedaka v'chesed ve'hoshienu, Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Choneinu Vaneinu, Ki ein banu masim.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא ויהנה אל מציאותו, אחד בן יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו. אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו. קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו. הינו אדון עולם לכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו. לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לימואל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו. לא יכל לפעל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומר לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרשעתו, ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לכתוב בחקי קץ ישועתו, מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדעת שם תהילתו, מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדעת שם תהילתו.
I'd like to, as we conclude our service this evening, say a couple of words of thanks and appreciation. Hakarata Tov, acknowledging a lot of goodness and blessing, and saying a word of Todah, a word of thanks. First of all, acknowledging what this evening is all about. This evening is about getting us into a state of mind that we can approach these Yamim Noraim, these days of awe, of significance, and the melodies that were just sung so beautifully by Cantor Dube, by our Shaliach Tzibor, David Srebnick, really transported us into a different frame of mind. And as Leon Gunther just played, they just took us into a different state of mind. As Rabbi Maimon just took us into a different place through meditation, we were transported through the teachings of Rabbi Jaffe and Rabbi Kling Perkins. We really got to enter into a different space. So I hope everyone has really begun that journey for yourselves as a community. And I know our communities will have really rich and deep experiences over the next weeks. We have extended an invitation to Temple Isaiah for the second day of Rosh Hashanah. If you'd like to join us at Temple Emunah, you're welcome to do so. You don't even have to leave your own homes, so it's very convenient. You're welcome to come. And I hope you are able to find meaning in this most surreal and strange year and find moments of real self-transformation, reflection, and meaning. It's harder. You have to work at it. You have to find time and space and really carve that out. But it's possible. I certainly felt it this evening. And there were moments where I was truly transported. And so that brings me to my second point, which is Todah. All of the clergy here are working really hard. And to add another service like this one tonight took an extra effort. And make sure you send a note of appreciation to each one of them for adding this to their schedule and to their workload. It was an act of chesed, a labor of love. And so I want to just say my thanks to each and every one of them for creating an extra degree of beauty, of kihila, of sharing for all of us to enjoy and appreciate. That brings us to the final moment of this service this evening, which is the sounding of the shofar. If it's comfortable and something that you'd like to do, feel free to stand or not. We are going to invite from Temple Isaiah, Rick Melnick and his wife, Lynn Stein Melnick, who will be calling the shofar notes to lead us. Bevakasha.
Tekiah, Shivarim, Teruah, Tekiah Gedolah.
Yasher koach. Shana Tova, everyone. May it be a year of blessing and peace, and may a year of health amidst all of this.
Tova.
Invite anyone who would like to stay on and say a word to stay on and say a word.
Shana Tova.
Shana